Hello gorgeous, welcome back to another video of mine on this amazing YouTube channel. It is your fave 𝗧𝗺 𝗦𝘁 and I'm here with another episode of AstroTea, what's happening celestially. So happy to be back on YouTube once again. It's been a minute. Let's get into it. So with these AstroTea episodes, what I'm going to be doing is giving you the full tea on what's happening in the heavenly realms so that you are not caught off guard while the planets are moving and shaking and shifting. So let's get into it. First up, we have a new moon happening in the sign of Gemini on the 18th. During this lunation, I strongly suggest that everyone take a moment to write down different things that they truly desire. The moon represents what you would like to have that would incorporate security and comfort. So definitely try to manifest things around that. So say for instance, don't manifest like, I want $100. No, try to focus on, I want financial freedom. I want generational wealth. I want, all these things, because the moon also represents your roots as well, which could mean like your DNA, grandparents, grandparents. If that makes sense. So it represents like hereditary traits, so this new moon is really going to be highlighting what we need to sustain ourselves on a daily basis, very Gemini energy. And like I said before, what is going to incorporate security and comfort. And as long as you kind of focus your manifestations on that, I think you're going to be just fine. And also the moon is interacting with Venus and Mars currently in Leo at this time. Leo is all about romance and creativity. Mars is like, let's go for it. Let's do it. And then Venus is like, I'm going to go vibe by the pool and color or vibe in a park and draw some trees or something. I don't know. You do you. But I really feel like this new moon is also asking us to be very flexible, not only in our connections, but how we move through the world. Gemini is a very mutable energy. And again, the new moon is just really asking us to kind of observe what we need in our life. That is, like I said before, I don't know why. I think comfort and security is like the key words for this lunation for sure. But yes, I think also when you think about like the moon and motherhood, this ties into Leo energy because Leo represents children, like I said, Venus and Leo and Mars and Leo at this time. So also kind of observe children and how they tend to stay so present. Yeah, this lunation, I'm very excited for this energy. It's very much like putting us in a place where we view everything from the eyes of a child. It's like when you're an adult, you kind of focus on, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and I gotta do this. But as children, it's like, I'm gonna do this for now. When I'm bored, I'll move on to this. I'm hungry, I'm gonna do this. And so that's how you can kind of operate within this energy. Stay present. All that to say, stay present. And while the moon is dark, it kind of puts us in a place where we don't really know where to go. But I feel like this kind of ties into the whole concept of how people are so afraid of the unknown. Yes, it is scary. Yes, it is sometimes intriguing, but sometimes we might self-sabotage and prevent ourselves from really exploring. Again, very childlike energy. Like kids will do just about anything if you let them. So it's definitely giving the energy of embrace the unknown and replace curiosity with fear. Very Gemini energy. Gemini is very like, I want to ask questions. I want to know how this works. I want to take this apart and put it back together. So all of those sentiments, try them out during this new moon. And like I said earlier, write down everything that you really desire for yourself. And sometimes it could be as simple as making time or scheduling time for that matter to just be creative. And it doesn't have to be anything special. It could really be like following a Bob Ross tutorial, which sounds incredible actually, or coloring, something. Just keep it simple. Don't You know, we're not trying to be Rembrandt out here. Relax. Next up, we have the sun in Cancer happening on June 21st. The sun represents authority and Cancer represents your emotions and is also ruled by the moon as well. First of all, happy birthday to all my Cancer babies. I love y'all so much and I hope you guys have a beautiful birthday season. But yeah, like I was saying before, the sun represents authority, Cancer represents your emotions. It is also ruled by the moon as well. So I really feel like this particular Cancer season is going to push us in a place where we take more almost responsibility and authority over our emotions so that we can properly communicate to others that we truly care about, especially those that we meet with on the day-to-day basis. Because you think about the moon, it doesn't stay in one sign for more than 2.5 days. So it's constantly shifting, it's constantly changing. And again, it's really wanting us to, this Cancer season is really initiating, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. So it is not only initiating us to emotionally express ourselves, but also initiate those conversations. And it's also initiating summertime. So it's just really, really exciting and putting us in a space where we can just truly feel confident in being bold. And then the sun does represent father type of energy. It's kind of interesting because the sun represents father energy, the moon represents mother energy. So I feel like we might be in a space where we're going to acknowledge certain wounds. Like again, Cancer in the moon represents hereditary traits or things that come about generationally. So I feel like different habits and traits are that we have learned from father figures or mother figures are really going to be brought up to the surface from the subconscious mind for us to properly heal and to acknowledge them, to either again kind of take authority over if we're going to continue with those traits or if we're going to change them, like the moon. So it's definitely going to be an eye-opening season, because it's like since it's the beginning of summertime, it's like you really want to start this season with a fresh perspective. And then Cancer or the moon is also an energy that represents the people. And I really feel like because the sun represents politicians or actors or those within the public eye, because you see the sun is something that you see all the time during the day, and then the moon is something that you see at night. So it's such an interesting energy. It's literally like this season is going to be night and day, feminine and masculine, yin and yang. So it's like when it comes down to politicians, we're really going to see how these individuals navigate certain situations. Like for example, a lot of the resources that we need in America has been shipped overseas, and not saying that those countries do not need it, but it is unfortunate that we have places, say for instance like San Francisco, where it's one of the most beloved cities, but it has a huge homeless crisis. And it's just like, again, we need to kind of take care of home first before we kind of distribute out funds to other places, because it's a lot of misplacement of funds and resources and things that could really equate to security. So I feel like we're really going to be acknowledging, where is all this money going? Where are these resources really going? What's happening? And I saw an article the other day where there was some sort of police department and they did an audit and they found out that a lot of the funds were again being misused. So it's not benefiting, nothing is benefiting the people. It is solely benefiting these authority figures. So, and then the last thing that I would love to say about this Cancer season, get some sun, of course, but when it comes down to your personal connections, really cherish them. I definitely feel like after the pandemic, we just did not, it it messed up everything. So it's like, go outside, go on a picnic with some people that you love, and just really enjoy this season, because we don't know if it's going to be taken away through some sort of planned catastrophic event. So do what you can, enjoy the people that you love, or don't be afraid to make new connections and find something that better suits your needs. And Cancer is all about your personal and emotional needs. So again, the sun is like, let's be bold, let's go out there, let's talk to people, let's do it, let's be confident, we got this. And Cancer is like, we do, let's initiate this and get this done. So have fun. I think it's gonna be a good summer. Our next planetary transit is Mercury entering Cancer from June 21st to July 11th. The biggest overarching theme for this particular transit is communicating with clarity, communicating your emotions with clarity. I think if you ever want to initiate a difficult conversation, specifically with maybe siblings, very Mercury, Gemini energy, or with some sort of motherly figure or someone that you are very close to, this would be the time to do it. And, because Cancer is a very feminine water type of energy, it's gonna add a little bit of gentleness so things don't come off so harsh, because Mercury is a logical, mental energy. So it's like, it's just the best of both worlds. It's like you have the communication and the emotions, and it's just like, listen here, let me tell you about my day, and I really want to talk about this situation that kind of bothered me. But yeah, so good luck with those type of conversations. I think that it's really going to be very healing. I have noticed from watching certain things from the bowels of Twitter that a lot of people don't really know how to communicate. They think they do. They think that they understand emotional intelligence, but they do not. So I think that bringing that up, I think don't be afraid to do research. Very mercurial energy. Don't be afraid to do research on attachment styles and actually do research on all these therapy words like triggers, emotional intelligence, and trauma bonding, things like that. Like the website Psychology Today has been a huge help in helping me to navigate certain conversations, but to also kind of understand people on a deeper level than I ever really kind of considered. Because it's like, I feel like we have a lot of high expectations for people, but again, if you're not communicating your needs to the other person, or you don't know what you're feeling, or you don't fully understand that person, it's very difficult to kind of navigate these things. So again, there are plenty of resources to help you have healthier connections. And also, if there is anything in the news that encompasses trickster energy, very Mercury, or manipulation, especially emotional manipulation, Mercury in Cancer, it might be time to disconnect from the internet and just try to fill your time with other things. Again, like I said earlier, learning period, actually, that's it. So yeah, enjoy this transit. I think it's going to be really great. And I think that if everyone uses this energy correctly, as in, like I said before, researching how to be a little bit more emotionally whole, and also understanding that we're human and we have a lot of habits that are good and bad, and that our emotions come in cycles along with everything else in this world. Be gentle with yourself. Let's bring this back one more time. Mercury also represents the mind. So it's giving the energy like, if you have had a stern motherly figure or a stern parental figure, and they kind of talk down to you in certain scenarios, and not from like a loving place, but something very demeaning, you could have internalized that voice. So all that to say, pay attention to how you communicate with yourself, because that could be something that needs to alter, it needs to be healed, and needs to be acknowledged. I definitely feel like this is a perfect time to find a therapist. I always say this, quite frankly, I don't care if it gets on anyone's nerves. It needs to be said. This is literally the perfect time to speak speak with a therapist, like, or some sort of life coach or something, somebody qualified. Let's just say that Twitter and TikTok is not the answers. Unless you find someone certified. But again, you have to have that one-on-one conversation or connection in order to kind of figure out what's necessary. And therapists don't fix you. They simply provide you with more information or a different perspective and unbiased perspective so that you know how to move forward in a more wholesome way. That's not the right word I'm thinking of, but it's okay. Hopefully you understand. The last planetary transit that I'm going to speak on for this episode of AstroTea is Neptune turning retrograde in the sign of Pisces on June 30th until December 6th. So Neptune rules Pisces alongside Jupiter. It's going to be a little bit hazy for a minute. Neptune and Pisces represent illusions and distractions and escapism. So I feel like a lot of us might try to kind of disappear to those type of spaces, that type of energy. But I feel like the biggest lesson during this transit is to pay attention to intuitive nudges and to pay attention to your intuition, because I feel like there's going to be some sort of event or scenario that might take place, and I feel like it's going to be full of lies and deception, or it's going to expose lies and deception, especially now because we have Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, and Pluto is all about digging up certain things. So it's interesting, we have Neptune and Pisces kind of representing the subconscious mind or things that are hidden. And then you have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, which is giving the energy of like digging up something that revolves around capitalism, the corporate world, business execs, certain things like that. So it's, because that's very Capricorn energy. So I feel like there's going to be something that's going to be exposed. We'll leave it at that. And because Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, it's putting us in a place where we're kind of focusing on what's happening internally. And again, you cannot bypass anything on an emotional level because it gets trapped in your subconscious mind. But the thing is, your subconscious really can run your life if you are not fully aware of what's happening, what's there. It's kind of crazy. Like your subconscious mind could really self-sabotage Pisces, whatever you're working on at that time. So keep that in mind. And our sensitivity is going to be at a higher octave. So it's definitely giving the energy of like, be gentle and compassionate, not only with yourself, but with others as well. Take a break from social media. If there are some sort of news stories, because I strongly do feel like they are going to use the news to create some sort of distraction in some capacity. So it could be like, over here we have a UFO in Las Vegas, but over here we're low-key contaminating your water, or there could be, I don't know, like an oil spill or something like that. Not speaking that into existence, but Pisces does rule the ocean or large bodies of water. So that could be, just to kind of give an example of how the media could be like, look over there, but then there's something else happening over here, if that makes sense. And then Pisces and Neptune does also represent drugs, the hospital, and neglect. So take that information and use it as you see fit. But it's giving, there could be information revealed about some sort of event that we experienced. It could be some other deception around something new and completely different. We're not quite sure yet, but we'll see. And then, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of us are going to be very emotionally sensitive. And then when it comes down to your emotions, like, think about it this way. If you've ever interacted with a child, a toddler specifically, and they hurt their hand, they run to you, they give you the full play-by-play of what's happened, and then they ask you, or you ask them to kiss their boo-boo. and then you kiss it and then they run away. That is exactly the physical manifestation of how your emotions operate. They just want to be acknowledged, you know? And of course, there's a lot more work that you have to put into that, but your emotions just want to be acknowledged. They want to be held. They want to be nurtured. They don't want you to try to cover it up, you know? Like if you have a child who hurt themselves, you can't just push them away. You could, but don't do that. So yeah, your Pisces also represents prisons. So it's like your emotions could really hold you as a prisoner if you let it. But again, this is your life. You make choices that either benefit or hinder you, and it's up to you. But this is the information that I would like to give you to kind of help you navigate these different the deep dark depths of the ocean of emotions. Bars. And the last thing I will say about this transit is we're going to be so in tune with what's happening with the world that I really feel like we might start some new initiatives to help people. You know, especially the homeless. That's definitely Pisces energy. So I definitely feel like we might all just take some time to kind of get together with some other people and kind of figure out what exactly we need to do. Because again, we have been exposed to, for generations now, how the government or someone in power promises this, that, and the third, and it never happens. And it's like people don't realize that we can actually help ourselves. We can do incredible things if we actually put our mind to it, but it just depends on what you're looking for and what you want to achieve in this life. And instead of getting lost in the ocean of emotions, give life a chance. Let's try to figure this out together. You're not alone, and we can do this. I promise we can do this. That is the end of Astro Tea. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I wish you all the best, and I hope that this information helps you in the future. I will be back soon-ish with some more information in Astro Tea. Wishing you all the best and sending you so much love.